There we go. How now? Act 2. King Henry V. Enter chorus. Now all the youth of England are on fire, and silken delights, and the wardrobe lies. Now thrive the armorers, and honor's thought reign solely in the breast of every man. They sail the pasture now to buy the horse, following the mirror of all Christian kings with winged heels as English Mercuries. For now sits expectation in the air, and hides a sword from hilts unto the point which crowns imperial crowns and coronets, promised to Harry and his followers. The French, advised by good intelligence of the most dreadful preparation, shake in their fear, and with pale policy seek to divert the English purposes. We, England, model to thy inward greatness, like little body with a mighty heart, what mightest thou do that honor would thee do, were all thy children kind and natural? But see thy fault. France hath in thee found out a nest of hollow bosoms, which he fills with treacherous crown, and 3 corrupted men. One, Richard Earl of Cambridge, and the second Henry Lord Scrope of Masham, and the third Sir Thomas Grey, Knight of Northumberland, have, for the guilt of France, guilt indeed, confirmed conspiracy with fearful France, and by their hands disgraced kings must die. If hell and treason hold their promises, ere he take ship for France, and Southampton linger your patience on, and will digest the abuse of distance while we force a play. The sum is paid, the traders are agreed, the king is set from London, and the scene is now transported, gentles, to Southampton. There is a playhouse now, there must you sit, and thence to France shall we convey you safe, and bring you back, charming the narrow seas, to give you gentle pass, for if we may, we'll not offend stomach with our play, but till the king come forth, and not till then, until Southampton we do shift our scene. Nay, how now? Scene 1, London, East Cheap. Enter Nym and Bardolph. Well met, Corporal Nym. Good morrow, Lieutenant Bardolph. What, our ancient pistol and you friends yet? For my part, I care not. I say little, but when time shall serve, there shall be smiles. But that shall be as it may. I dare not fight, but I will wink and hold out mine iron. It is a simple one, but what though? It will toast cheese, and it will endure cold as another man's sword will, and there's an end. I will bestow a breakfast to make you friends, and will be on all 3 sworn brothers to France. Let it be so, good Corporal Nym. Faith, I will live so long as I may, that's the certain of it, and when I cannot live any longer, I will do as I may. That is my rest, that is the rendezvous of it. It is certain, Corporal, that he is married to Nell quickly, and certainly she did you wrong, for you were troth plight to her. I cannot tell. Things must be as they may. Men may sleep, and they may have their throats about them at that time, and some say knives have edges. It must be as it may, though patience be a tired mare, yet she will plod. There must be conclusions. Well, I cannot tell. Enter Pistol and hostess. Here comes the ancient Pistol and his wife. Good Corporal, be patient here. Now. Good Corporal, be patient here. How now, mine host Pistol? Base tyke, call'st thou me host? Now by his hand I swear I scorn the term, nor shall my Nell keep lodgers. No, by my troth not long, for we cannot lodge and board 14 gentlemen that live honestly by the prick of their needles, but it will be thought we keep a gaudy house straight. Well, lady, if he be not strong now, we shall see wilful adultery and murder committed. Good lunatic. Good Corporal, offer nothing here. Pish for thee, Iceland dog, thou prick-ear cure of Iceland. Good Corporal Nym, show thy valor and put up your sword. Will you shog off? I would have you solace. Solace, egregious dog? O viper vile, the solace in thy most marvellous face, the solace in thy teeth, and in thy groat, and in thy hateful lungs, and in thy maw, purdy, and which is worse, within thy nasty mouth. I do retort the solace in thy bowels, for I can take, and pistols cock is up, and flashing fire will follow. I am not Barbazan. You cannot conjure me. I have not humours to knock you indifferently well. If you grow foul with me, Pistol, I will scour you with my rapier, as I may. In fair terms, if you would walk off, I would prick your guts a little in good terms, as I may, and that's the humour of it. Oi, braggart vile and damned furious white, the grave doth gape, and that indeed is near, therefore exhale. Hear me, what I say. He hath strikes the first stroke. I'll run him up to the hilts as I am a soldier. An oath of might, and fury shall abate. Give me thy fist, thy fourth foot. To me give, thy spirits are most tall. I will cut thy throat, one time to other, in fair terms, that is the humour of it. Coupe la gorge, that is the word, I thee defy again. Oi, hound of Crete, think'st thou my spouse to get? No, to the spittle go, and from the powdering tub of infamy fetch forth the laser light, the laser kite of crested kind. Dull tear sheet, she by name, and her a spouse I have, and I will hold the quondam quickly, for the only she and the Paka, there's enough, go to. Enter the boy. My host, Pistol, you must come to my master and your hostess. He's very sick, and would to bed. Good Bardolph, put thy face between his sheets, and do the office for a warming. Faith, he's very ill. Away, you rogue! By my troth, he'll yield the crow of pudding one of these days. The king was killed his heart. Good husband, come home presently. Come, shall I make you two friends? We must to France together. Why the devil should we keep knives, cut one another's throats? Let floods o'er swell and fiends for good. Howl on. You'll pay me the 8 shillings I won of you at betting. Base is a slave that pays. That now I will have. That's the humour of it. As manhood shall compound, push home. By his sword, he that makes the first thrust, I'll kill him. By his sword I will. Sword is an oath, and oaths must have their course. Corporal Nim, and thou wilt be friends, and thou wilt not. Why then be enemies? With me too prithee put up. I shall have my 8 shillings I won of you at betting. A noble shalt thou have, and present pay, and liquor likewise will I give to thee, and friendship shall combine, and brotherhood. I'll live by Nim, and Nim shall live by me. It's not this just, for I shall such be. Unto the camp of profits will accrue. Give me thy hand. I shall have my noble in cash most justly paid. Well then, that's the humour of it. Re-enter hostess. As ever you came of woman, come in quickly to Sir John. Ah, poor heart, he is so shaked of a burning quotidian tertian, that it is most lamentable to behold. Sweet men, come to him. The king hath run bad-humoured on the night. That's even of it. Nim, thou hast spoke the right. His heart is fracted and corroborated. The king is a good king, but that must be as it may. He passes some humours and careers. Let us condole the night. For lambkins we will live. Scene 2, Southampton, the council chamber. Enter Exeter, Bedford, and Westmoreland. For God, his grace, is bold to trust these traitors. They shall be apprehended by and by. How smooth and even they do bear themselves, as if allegiance in their bosoms sat, crowned with faith and constant loyalty. The king hath note of all that they intend, by inception, which they dream not of. Nay, the man that with this bedfellow, whom he hath doled and cloyed with his gracious favours, that he should, for fur and purse, so sell his sovereign's life to death and treachery. How now, Leonardo? Trumpets sound. Enter King Henry, Scroop, Cambridge, Grey, lords and attendants. Now sits the wind fair, and we will aboard. My lord of Cambridge, and my king lord of Masham, and you, my gentle knight, give me your thoughts. Think you not that the powers we bear with us will cut their passage through the force of France, doing the execution and the act for which we have and had assembled them? No doubt, my liege, if each man do his best. I doubt not that, since we are well persuaded, we carry not a heart with us from hence that grows not an affair constant with ours, nor leave not one behind that doth not wish success and conquest to attend on us. Never was monarch better feared and loved. Then is your majesty. There's not, I think, a subject that sits in heart grief and uneasiness under the sweet shade of your government. True, those that were your father's enemies have steeped their galls in honey, and do serve you with heart's creative duty and zeal. We therefore have great cause of thankfulness, and shall forget the office of our hand, sooner than quittance of desert and merit, according to the weight and worthiness. So service shall with steeled sinews toil, and labor shall refresh itself with hope to do your grace incessant services. We judge no less, uncle of Exeter, enlarge the man committed yesterday, that railed against our person. We consider it was excess of wine that set him on, and on his more advised we pardon him. That's mercy, but too much security. Let him be punished. Sovereign, let example breed by his sufferance more of such a kind. Oui. Let us yes be merciful. So may your highness, and yet punish too. Sir, you show great mercy if you give him life after the taste of much correction. Alas, your too much love and care of me are heavy orisons against this poor wretch. If little thoughts proceeding on distemper shall not be winked at, how shall we stretch our eye when capital crimes, chewed, swallowed, and digested, appear before us? We'll yet enlarge that man through Cambridge, Scroop and Gray in their dear care, and tender preservation of our person, would have him punished. And now to our French causes, who are the late commissioners? I one, my lord. Your highness bade me ask for it today. So did you me, my liege. When capital crimes, chewed, swallowed, and digested, appeared before us, we yet enlarge that man, though Cambridge, Scroop and Gray, in their dear care and tender preservation of our person, would have him punished. And now to our French causes, who are the late commissioners? I one, my lord, your highness bade me ask for today. So did you me, my liege, and I my royal sovereign. Then Richard, Earl of Cambridge, there is yours. There yours, Lord Scroop of Maston, and Sir Knight, Grey of Northumberland, the same as yours. Read them, and know, I know your worthiness, my lord of Westmoreland and Uncle Exeter. We will aboard tonight. Why, how now, gentlemen? What see you in those papers that you lose so much complexion? Look ye, how they change, their cheeks are paper. Why, what read you there that hath so cowarded and chased your blood out of appearance? I do confess my fault, and do submit me to your highness' mercy, to which we all appeal. The mercy that was quick in us but late, by our own counsel surprised and killed. You must not dare for shame to talk of mercy, for your own reasons turn into your bosom, as dogs upon their masters, worrying you. See you, my princes and my noble peers, these English monsters. My lord of Cambridge here, you know how apt our love was to accord to furnish him with all appurtenance belonging to his honor. And this man hath for a few light crowns lightly conspired and sworn unto the practices of France to kill us here in Hampton. To the which this knight no less for bounty bound to us than Cambridge is hath likewise sworn. But oi, what shall I say to thee, Lord Scroop, thou cruel, ungrateful savage, and inhuman creature? Thou that didst bear the key of all my counsels, that knewest the very bottom of my soul, that almost mightst have coined me into gold, wouldst thou have practised on me for thy use? May it be possible that foreign hire could out of thee extract one spark of evil, that might annoy my finger. 'Tis so strange that thou the truth of those stands office gross as black from light, my eye will scarcely see it. Treason and murder ever kept together, as two yoked devils sworn to either's purpose, working so grossly in the natural cause that admiration did not whoop at them. But thou against all proportion didst bring in wondrous weight on treason and on murder, and whatsoever cunning fiend it was that brought upon these to so preposterously hath got voice in hell for excellence. and other devils that suggest by treason, do botch and bungle up damnation, with patches colors, with forms being fetched from glistering semblances of piety. But he that tempered thee bade thee stand up, gave thee no instance why thou shouldst do treason, unless to dub thee with the name of traitor. If that same demon that hath lured thee thus should with his lion gape walk the whole world, he might return to vasty Tartar back, and tell the legions, I can never win a soul so easy as that Englishman's. Oi, how hast thou with jealousy infected the sweetness of affiance? Show men dutiful, why so didst thou? Seem they grave and learned, why so didst thou? Come they of noble family, why so didst thou? Seem they religious, why so didst thou? Or are they spare in diet, free from gross passion, or of mirth or anger? Constant in spirit, not swerving with the blood, garnished and decked in mind, not working with the eye without the ear, and but in purged judgment, trusting neither? Such and so finely bolted didst thou seem, and thus thy fall hath left a kind of blot, to mark the full fraught man best induced with some suspicion. I will weep for thee, for this revolt of thine, methinks, is like another fall of man. Their faults are open, arrest them to the answer of the law, and God acquit them of their practices. Compliment not, yeah. So, you committed a serious crime. And you continue it. And you continue it. And you continue it. So you guys are under arrest at this point moving forward. I can go ahead and seize that property. My name's on it, not yours. If you're going to take it there, you want to strong arm people, that's what we can do for you. Open that shop up. It's not a joke. I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Richard Earl of Cambridge. I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Henry Lord Scroop of Masham. I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Thomas Grey, Knight of Northumberland. Our purpose is God justly hath discovered, and I have spent my fault more than my death, which I beseech your highness to forgive, although my body pay the price of it. For me the gold of France did not seduce, although I did admit it as a motive, the sooner to effect what I intended. But God be thanked for prevention, which I in sufferance heartily will rejoice, beseeching God and you to pardon me for those false accusations. Never did faithful subject more rejoice at the discovery of most dangerous treason than I do at this hour. Joy over myself, prevented from a damned enterprise. My fault, but not my body. Pardon, sovereign. God quit you in his mercy. Hear your sentence. You have conspired against our royal persons, joined with an enemy proclaimed, and from his coffers received the golden earnest of our death, wherein you would have sold your king slaughter, his princes and his peers to servitude, his subjects to oppression and contempt, and his whole kingdom into desolation. Touching our person, seek we no revenge, but we are kingdom's safety must so tender, whose ruin you have sought, that to her laws we do deliver you. Get you therefore hence, poor miserable wretches, to your death, the taste whereof God of his mercy give you patience to endure, and true repentance of all your day offenses. Bear them hence. Can we get started? Time is of the essence. Now, Lord, for France, the enterprise whereof shall be to you, as us, like glorious, we doubt not of a fair and lucky war. Since God so graciously hath brought to light this dangerous treason, lurking in our way to hinder our beginnings, we doubt not now, but every rub is smooth in our way. Then forth, dear countrymen, let us deliver our puissance into the hand of God, putting it straight in expedition, cheerly to see the signs of war advance. No king of England, if not king of France. Scene 3, London before tavern in East Cheap. Enter pistol host thieves, hostess Nim, Bardolph, and boy. Prithee, honey sweet husband, let me bring thee to Spain. No, for my manly heart doth yearn, Bardolph. Be blithe. Nym, rouse thy mounting vein. Boy, bristle thy courage up, for Falstaff he is dead, and we must yearn therefore. Would I were with him, wheresoever he is, either in heaven or in hell. Nay, sure he's not in hell. He's in Arthur's bosom, if ever man went to Arthur's bosom. Made a finer end and went away in it, and had been any christened child. I parted even just between 12 and 1, even at the turning of the tide. For after I saw him fumble with the sheets and play with flowers and smile upon his fingers' ends, I knew there was but one way, for his nose was as sharp as a pin in a babble of green fields. How now, Sir John, quoth I, what man, be of good cheer. So cried out, God, 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 3 or 4 times. Now I, to comfort him, bid him I should not think of God. I hoped there was no need to trouble himself with any such thoughts yet. So bade me lay more clothes on his feet. I put my hand into the bed and felt them, and they were as cold as any stone. Then I felt to his knees, and so upward, and all was so cold as any stone. They say he cried out of sack. Aye, that it did, and of a woman. Nay, that it did not. Yes, that it did, and said they were devils incarnate. I could never abide carnation. 'Twas a color he never liked. I said once the devil would have been but a woman. Did in some sort indeed hand a woman, but then he was rheumatic, and talked of the horror of Babylon. Do you not remember I saw a flea stick upon Bardolph's nose, and I said it was a black soul burning in hellfire? Well, the fuel's gone that maintained that fire. That's all the riches I got in service. Shall we shog? The king will be gone from Southampton. Come, let's away. My love, give me thy lips. Look to my chattels and my movables. Let senses rule. The world is pitch and pay, trusts none. For oaths are straws, men's faiths are waver cakes, and hold fast is only dog, my duck, therefore capital, I, thy counselor. Go clear thy crystals, yoke fellows in arms, let us to France like horse leeches, my boys to suck, the very blood to suck. And that's but unwholesome food, they say. Touch her soft mouth and march. Farewell, hostess. I cannot kiss, that is the humor of it, but adieu. Let housewife appear, keep close, I thee command. Farewell, adieu. How dost thou now? Okay, scene 4. France, an apartment in the French king's palace. Enter the French king, attendant, the dauphin, the dukes of Berry, and the Britons, the constable, and others. Thus come the English with full power upon us, and more than carefully it is concerned to answer royally in our defences. For the dukes of Berry and Britain, of Brabant, and of Orleans shall make forth, and you, Prince Dauphin, will all swift dispatch to line and you repair our towns of war, with men of courage and with means defended. For England his approaches makes us fierce, as waters to the sucking of a gulf. It fits us then to be as provident as fear may teach us, out of late examples left by the fatal and negligent English upon our field. My most redoubted father, it is most meet we arm us against the foe, for peace itself should not so dull a kingdom, though war not so known quarrel were in question. But the defences, musters, preparations, should be maintained, dissembled, and collected, as were a war in expectation. Therefore I say, 'tis meet we all go forth, to view the sick and feeble parts of France, and let us do it with no show of fear. No, with no more than if we heard that England were busied with a Whitsun Morris dance. For my good liege, she is so idly kinged, her sceptre so frantically borne, my vain, giddy, shallow, humorous youth, that fear tends her not. Oh, peace, Prince Dauphin, you are too much mistaken in this king. Question your grace, the late ambassadors, with what great state he heard their embassy. How well supplied with noble counselors, how modest in exception, and withal how terrible in constant resolution. And you shall find his vanities forspent, or but the outside of the Roman Brutus, covering discretion with a coat of folly. as gardeners do with odor hide rose roots, that shall first spring and be most delicate. Well, 'tis not so, my lord high constable, but thou we think it is so, it is no matter. In cases of defense, 'tis better to weigh the enemy more mighty than he seems. So the proportions of defense are filled, which of a weak and a niggardly projection doth like a miser spoil his coat with scanting a little cloth. Think we King Harry strong, and princes look you strongly armed to meet him. The kindred of him hath been fleshed upon us, and he is bred out of that bloody strain. And he that haunted us in our familiar past, witness our too much memorable shame, is Cressy battle fatally withstruck, and all our princes captured by the hand of what black name? Edward Black Prince of Wales, whilst that is his mounting sire on mountain standing, up in the air, crowned with the golden sun, saw his heroical seed, and smiled to see him mingle the work of nature, and debase the patterns that by God and by French fathers had 20 years been made. This is the stem of that victorious stock, and let us fear the native mightiness and fate of him. Enter a messenger. Ambassadors from Harry King of England do crave admittance to your majesty. We'll give them presence audience, and bring them. You see this chase is hostly, followed friends. Turn head and stop pursuit, for coward dogs must spin their mouths when they seem to threaten. Run far before them. Good, my sovereign, take up the English short, and let them know of what a monarchy you are the head. Self-love, my liege, is not so vile a sin as self-neglecting. Ranger Lord, Exeter in train. From our brother England? From him, and thus he greets your majesty. He wills you, in the name of God Almighty, that you divest yourself, and lay apart the borrowed glories that by gift of heaven, by law of nature, and of nations long, to him and to his heirs, namely the crown, to all wide-stretched honors that pertain by custom and the ordinance of times, and to the crown of France, that you may know 'tis no sinister nor no awkward claim, picked from warm holes of long-vanished days, nor from the dust of old oblivion racked his wrens used this most memorable line. In every branch truly demonstrative, willing you overlook this pedigree, and when you find him evenly derived from his most famed of famous ancestors, Edward III, he bids you then reign your crown and kingdom, indirectly held from him, a native true challenger. Or else what follows? Bloody constraint, or if you hide the crown even in your hearts, there will he rake for it. Therefore in fierce tempest he is coming, in thunder and earthquake like a Jove, that if requiring fail, he will compel, and bid you in the bowels of the Lord deliver up the crown, and take mercy on the poor souls from whom his hungry war opens his vasty jaws, and on your head turning the widowers' tears and the orphans' cries, the dead men's blood, the pining maidens' groans. For husbands, fathers, and betrothed lovers that shall be swallowed in this controversy. This is his claim, his threatening, and my message. Unless the Dauphin be in presence here, to whom expressly I bring greeting to. Shoe. John Shoe. For us, we will consider of this further. Tomorrow shall you bear out further intent. Back to our brother England. For the Dauphin, I stand here for him. What to him from England? Scorn and defiance, slight regard, contempt, and anything that may not misbecome the mighty Cinder. Doth he prize you at thus, says my king. And if your father's highness do not in grant of all demands large, sweet and bitter mock you sent his majesty, he'll call you to so hot an answer of it, that caves and woomy vaultages of France shall chide your trespass and return your mock in second extent of his ordinance. Say, if my father render fair return, it is against my will, for I desire nothing but odds with England. To that end, as matching to his youth and vanity, I did present him with the Paris balls. He'll make your Paris Louvre shake for it, were it the mistress court of mighty Europe. And be assured you'll find a difference. And we his subjects have in wonder found between the promise of greener days, and these he masters now. Now he wastes time even to the utmost grain, that you shall read in your own losses, if you stay in France. Tomorrow shall you know our minded fool. Dispatch us with all speed, lest that our king come here himself to question our delay. For he is footed in this land already. You shall be soon dispatched with fair conditions. And night is but small breath, and little pause to answer matters. of this continent. Oh, buddy. Act 3 of King Henry V. The chorus. Thus with imagined wing our swift scene flies, in motion of no less celerity than that of thought. Suppose that you have seen the well-appointed king at Hampton Pier embark his royalty, and his brave fleet with silken steamers, the young Phoebus, fanning. Play with your fancies, and in them behold upon the hempen tackle ship-boys, climbing. Hear the shrill whistle which doth order give to sounds confused. Behold the threatened sails borne with the invisible and creeping mind. Draw the huge bottoms through the furrowed sea, breasting the lofty surge. Boy, do but think you stand upon the rivets and behold a city on the constant billowing dancing. For so appears this fleet majestical, holding due course to Harfleur. Follow, follow. Grapple your minds to surrange of this navy, and leave your England as dead midnight still guarded with grandsires, babies, and old women, either past or not arrived to pith and puissance. For who is he whose chin is but enriched with one appearing hair that will not follow those cold and choice-drawn cavaliers to France? Work, work your thoughts, and therein see a siege. Behold the ordnance on their carriages, with fatal mouths gaping and ungirded Harfleur. Suppose the ambassador from the French comes back, tells Harry that the king doth offer him Catherine his daughter, and with her to dowry some petty and unprofitable dukedom. The offer likes not, and the nimble gunner with linsuck now the devilish cannon touches. And down goes all before them. Still be kind, and eke out of our performance with your mind. Scene 1, France, before Harfleur. Enter King Henry, Exeter, Bedford, Gloucester, and soldiers with scaling ladders. Once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more, or close the wall up with our English dead. In peace there's nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility. But when the blast of our war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger. Stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood, disguise fair nature with hard-favored age. Then lend the eye a terrible aspect, let it pry through the portage of the head like the brass cannon, let brow o'erwhelm it as fearfully as doth the gallant rock, or hang in Juttia's confounded base, swilled with the wild and wasteful ocean. Now set the teeth and stretch the nostril wide, hold hard the breath, and bend up every spirit to its full height. On, you noblest English, whose blood is fet with fathers, O war-proof fathers that, like so many Alexanders, have in these parts from morn till even fought, and sheathed their swords for lack of argument. Dishonor not your mothers. Now attest that those whom you cause fathers did beget you. Be copied now to men of grosser blood, and teach them how to war. And you, good yeomen, whose limbs were made in England, show us here the mettle of your pasture. Let us swear that you are worth your breeding, which I doubt not. For there is none of you so mean and base that hath not noble lustres in your eyes. I see you stand like greyhounds in the slips, straining upon the start. The game's afoot. Follow your spirit, and upon the charge cry God for Harry, England, and St. George. Scene 2 the same. Enter Nym, Bardolph, Pistol, and Boy. On, to the bench, to the bench. Pray thee, corporal, stay. The knocks are too hot. And for my own part, I have not a case of lives. The humor of it is too hot. That is a very plain song of it. The plain song is most just, for humors do abound. Knocks don't know, God's vassals drop a god, and sword and shield and bloody field doth win immortal fame. Would I were in an alehouse in London, I would give all my fame for a pot of ale and safety. And I, if your wishes would prevail me, my purpose should not fail me, but thither would I hie. As Julia, but not as truly, as bird does sing on the bough. Enter Flulen. Up to the breach, you dogs, avaunt you cullions. Be merciful, great Duke, to men of mould. Abate thy rage, abate thy manly rage. Abate thy rage, great Duke. Good ballcock, bate thy rage, use salinity, sweet chuck. These be good humours, your honour wins bad humours. As young as I am, I have observed these three swashers. I am boy to tell to them all three, but all they three, though they would serve me, could not be man to me, for indeed the three such antiques do not amount to a man. For Bardolph he is a white-livered and red-faced, by the means whereof a face is it out but fights not. For pistol he hath a killing tongue, and a quiet sword, by the means whereof he breaks words, and keeps whole weapons. For Nim he hath heard that men of few words are the best men, and therefore he scorns to say his prayers, lest a should be the thought a coward. But his few bad words are matched with as few good deeds, for it never broke any mean man's head but his own, and that was against a post when he was drunk. They will steal anything and call it purchase. Bardolph stole a loot case, but for it 12 leagues and sold it for 3 halfpences. Nim and Bardolph are sworn brothers in Belcher, and in Callias they stole a fire shovel. I knew by that piece of service the men would carry coals. They would have me as familiar with men pockets as their handkerchiefs, which makes much against my manhood if I should take from another's pocket to put into mine. For it is plain pocketing up of wrongs. I must leave them and seek some better purpose. Their villainy goes against my weak stomach, and therefore I must cast it up. Re-enter Fluellen, Goward Bowen. Captain Fluellen, you must come presently to the mines. The Duke of Gloucester would speak with you. To the mines. Tell you the Duke it is not so good to come to the mines. For look you, the mine is not according to the discipline of the war. The concevites of it is not sufficient. For look you, the adversary, you may discuss it to the Duke. Look you, is ditched himself 4 yards on the counter mines. By Cheshire, I think I will plough up all, there is not better directions. The Duke of Gloucester, to whom the order of the siege is given, is altogether directed by an Irishman, a very valiant gentleman, I faith. It is Captain Macmorris, is it not? I think it be. By Cheshire, he's an ass, as in the world. I will verify as much in this period. He has no more directions in the true disciplines of the wars. Look you of the Roman disciplines, and he is a puppy. Macmorris and Jammy at a distance. Here it comes, and a Scots captain, Captain Jammy with him. Captain Jammy is a marvellous valorous gentleman, that is certain, and of great expedition and knowledge in the ancient wars. Upon my particular knowledge of his directions by Cheshire, he will maintain his argument as well as any military man in the world, in the disciplines of the pristine wars of the Romans. I say good day, Captain Fluellen. Good day to your worship, good Captain James. How now, Captain Macmorris? I have you quit the mines? Have the pioneers given order? By cherished lie, 'tis still done. The work ish God give order. The trumpet sounded to the retreat. By hand I swear in my father's soul, the work ish ill done. It ish give over. I will have blowed up his town, so shrish save me. Lie in an hour. Oi, 'tis still done. 'Tis still done. By my hand, 'tis still done. Captain Macmorris, I beseech you now, will you vouchsafe me, look you, a few disputations with you, as partly touching or concerning the disciplines of the war, the Roman wars, in the way of argument, look you in friendly communication, partly to satisfy my opinion, partly for the satisfaction, look you, my mind, as touching the direction of the military discipline. That is the point. It shall be very good, good faith, good Captain Bath, and I shall quit you with good leave, and I may pick occasion, that shall I marry. It is no time to discourse, so Trish save me, the day is hot, and the weather, and the wars, and the king, and the dukes. It is no time to discourse. The town is besieged, and the trumpet calls us to the breach, and we talk, and be cherished, do nothing. 'Tis shame for us all, so God send me. 'Tis shame to stand still, it is shame. By my hand, and there is throats to be cut, and works to be done, and there ish no thing done, so cherish, semi la. By the mess, ere thy eyes of mine take themselves to slumber, I'll do good service, or I'll dig I the grun for it, I or go to death, and I'll pay it as variously as I may, that shall I surely do, that is the breath and the law. Mary, I wad full gain heard some question, tween and tway. Captain Macmorris, I think, look you, under your correction, there is not many of your nation. Of my nation? What is my nation? Ish a villain, and a bastard, and a knave, and a rascal. What is my nation? Who talks of my nation? Look you, if you take the matter otherwise than as meant, Captain Macmorris, peradventure I shall thank you do not use me with that affability as in discretion you ought to use me. Look you, being as good a man as yourself, both in the discipline of the war and in the derivation of my birth, and in other particularities, I do not know you so good a man as myself. So cherish, save me, I will cut off your head. Gentlemen both, you will mistake each other. Ah, that's a foul thought. The town sounds a barley. Captain Macmorris, when there is more bitter opportunity to be required, look you, I will be so bold as to tell you I know the discipline of war, and there is an end. Scene 3, the same, before the gates of Harfleur, the governor of some citizens on the walls. The English forces below enter King Henry and his train. How yet resolves the governor of this town? This is the latest parley we will admit. Therefore, to our best mercy give yourselves, or like to men proud of destruction, defy us to our worst. For, as I am a soldier, a name that in my thoughts becomes me best, if I begin the battery once again, I will not leave the half-achieved Harfleur, till in her ashes she lie buried. The gates of mercy shall be all shut up, and the fleshed soldier, rough and hard of heart, in liberty of bloody hand, shall range with conscience wide as hell, mowing like grass, your fresh fair virgins and your flowering infants. What is it then to me, if impious war, arrayed in flames like to the prince of fiends, do with his smirched complexion all fell beats in link to waste and dissolution? What is it to me, when you yourselves are cause, if your pure maidens fall into the hand of hot and forcing violation? What reign can hold licentious wickedness, when down the hill he holds his fierce career? We may as bootless spin our vain command upon the enraged soldiers in their spoil, as sin percepts to the Leviathan to come ashore. Therefore, you men of Harfleur, take pity of your town and of your people, whilst yet my soldiers are in my command, whilst yet the cool and temperate wind of grace, or blows the filthy and contagious clouds of heady murder, spoil, and villainy. If not, why in a moment look to see the blind and bloody soldier with a foul hand defile the locks of your shrieking daughters, your fathers taken by the silver beards, and their most reverend heads dashed to the walls, your naked infants spitted upon pikes, while the mad mothers with their howls confused to break the clouds that did the wives of Jewry and paralyze the bloody hunting slaughtermen. What say you? Will you yield, and this avoid, or guilty in defense be thus destroyed? Our expectation hath this day an end. The Dauphin, whom of secure we entreated, returns us. His powers are yet not ready to raise so great a siege. Therefore, great king, we yield our town and lives to thy promise. Enter our gates, dispose of us in ours, for we no longer our defense.
I'm not ready yet.
Upon our gates, realm of Exeter, go you and enter Harfleur. There, Roman and
fortify and stronger against the foe. Use mercy to them all, for us, your uncle, soon coming on, and sickness growing upon our soldiers. We will retire to Hellas, tonight to Hellfire. We will be your guests. Tomorrow for the march are we addressed. Romans from the Bible. Rohin and room in the palace. Enter Catherine and Alice. Alice 2S este in Angleterre et tu parles bien language. En pour madame, j'étais prêt ma enseignis. Il faut que j'apprenne à parler. Comment à parler fut la main anglaise. La main, elle est appelée the hand. The hand. Et les doigts, ma foi, j'ai oublié les doigts. Mais jamais savendrai les doigts. Je pense qu'ils sont appelés des fingres. Oui, des fingres. Les mains de hand. Les doigts, des fingres. Je pense que je suis le bon escolier. J'ai gagné du Mats Dandois. Vissement. Comment vous les Anglais? Nous les Anglais. The nails. The nails? Écoutez. D'accord. Si je parlais bien des hands, des fingers et des nails. C'est bien dit, madame. Il est fort bon anglais. Dites-moi, I anglois pour les bras. They are madame. Et les coudes? The elbow. The elbow. J'ai même fait la répétition de tous les mots que vous m'avez pris de à présent. Il est trop difficile, madame, comme je pense. The Tropicana? Excusez-moi. Alice, escoute. The hand, the finger, the nail, the arm, the billow. The elbow, madame. Oh, Signor Dieu, j'ai mis à bleu. The elbow, comment appelez-vous du col? The neck, madame, the neck. Et le menton, the chin. Descend le corps de neck, le menton descend. Oui, sophestra honor. In vérité, voice prononcées, les mots assis dressed qualos, natifs de Angleterre. Je n'ai doubt, point de apprendre, par la grâce de Dieu, et in peu de temps. Ne avez-vous déjà hablé ce que je vous ai enseigné? Non. J'ai recité à voix prominent. The hand, the finger, the mirror. Why am I doing this? The nails, madame, the nails, the arm, the elbow. Soft, sure honor, the elbow. Ansi, dis, j'ai, elbow, the neck, et descend. Comment appelez-vous le pied et la robe? The foot, madame, at the con. The foot at the con? Oui, Seigneur, du. Sont mots des vous. Corruptible, gross, at. Imputicu, et non pour les dames, the honor du user, le je ne voudrais prononcer ces mots déant les seigneurs de France, pour quatre le monde, boy, et un nom. Piglat, niet moins, j'ai recité, un autre fois ma leçon ensemble. The hand, the finger, the nails, the arm, the elbows, the neck, the sin, the foot, the corn. Excellent, madame. Siest, as pour un fois, allant smooth adana. Forgotten languages. Sound like gibberish. Scene 5, the same, another room in the palace. Enter the French king, the dauphin, Duke Apollon, the constable of France, and others. 'Tis certain he hath passed the river Somme. And if he be not fought withal, my lord, let us not live in France. Let us quit all, and give our vineyards to a barbarous people. A du vivant? Shall a few sprayed of us, the emptying of our father's luxury, our signs put in wild and out of stock?
spurt up so suddenly into the clouds and overlook their rafters? Normans, but bastard Normans, Norman bastards, mort de ma vie, if they march along unfought. Withal, but I will sell my dukedom to buy a slobbery and a dirty farm in that nook-shot Isle of Albion. Dia de Battels, where have they this muttle? Is not their climate foggy and raw and dull? On whom, as in despite, the sun looks apale, killing the fruit with frowns? Can sun water a drench for Sir Rain jade their barley broth, decoct their cold blood to such villain heat? And shall our quick blood spiritual with wine seem frosty? Oi, for honor of our land, let us not hang like roping icicles upon our house's thatch, while the more frosty people sweat drops of gallant youth in our rich fields. Poor we may call them in our native lords. By faith and honor, our madams mock at us and plainly say our metal is bred out, and they will give their bodies to the lusts of English youth, to new store France with bastard warriors. They bid us to the English dancing schools and teach loyalties high and swift corantos, saying our grace is only in our wheels, and that we are most lofty runaways. Whereas Montjoy the herald? Speed him hence. Let him greet England with our sharp defiance. Up, princess, and with spirit of honor edged, more sharper than his sword, high to the field. Charles de la Breth, High Constable of France, you Dukes of Orleans, Bourbon, and Berry, Alençon, Brabant, Bar, and Burgundy, Jacques, Chatillon, Rambras, Vaudem, Beaumont, Grand Pré, Rousset, and Fauconberg, Foix, Lestrel, Boissy-Squat, and Charleroi, High Dukes, great princes, barons, lords, and knights, for your great seats now quit you of great shames. Bar hairy England that sweeps through our land with pennons painted in the blood of Harfleur, rush on his host, as doth the melted snow upon the valleys, whose low vassals seat the Alps, that spit and void this rumen upon, go down upon him and have power enough. And in a captive chariot into Rhone bring him our prisoner. This becomes the great Tsar, and his numbers are so few. His soldiers sick and famished, and in their march, for I am sure when he shall see our army, he'll drop his heart into the sink of fear, and for achievement offer us his ransom. Therefore, Lord Constable, haste on Montjoy, and let him say to England that we send to know what willing ransom he will give. Prince Dauphin, you shall stay with us in Rhone. Not so, I do beseech your majesty. Be patient, for you shall remain with us. Now forth, Lord Constable and princes all, and quickly bring us word of England's fall. Scene 4, the English camp in Picardy. Enter Gower and Flewlin. How now, Captain Flewlin? Come you from the bridge? I assure you there is very excellent services committed at the bridge. Is the Duke of Exeter safe? The Duke of Easter is a magnanimous as Agamemnon, Agamemnon, and a man that I love and honor with my soul and my heart and my duty and my life and my living and my uttermost power. He is not. God be praised and blessed, and hurt in the world, but keeps the pridge most valiantly with excellent discipline. There's an ancient lunatic there at the bridge. I think in my very conscience he is as valiant a man as Mark Antony, and he is a man of no estimation in the world, but I did see him do his gallant service. What do you call him? He is called Ancient Pistol. I know him not. Enter Pistol. Here is the man. Captain, I thee beseech to do me favors. The Duke of Easter doth love thee well. I praise God, and I have merited some love in his hands. Bardolph, a soldier firm and sound of heart, and of buxom valor, hath by cruel fate and giddy fortune steered a fickle wheel, that goddess blind, that stands upon the rolling restless stone. By your patience, Ancient Pistol, fortune's painted blind, with a muffler afore her eyes to signify to you that fortune is blind, and she is painted also with a wheel, to signify to you, which is the mortal of it. that she is turning, an inconstant in mutability and variation.
True.
At her foot, look you, is fixed upon a spherical stone, which roils and rolls and rolls in good truth. The poet makes us the most excellent description of it. Fortune is an excellent moral. Fortune is Bardolph's foe and frowns on him, for he hath stolen a pax, and hanged must to be a damned death. Let gallows gape for dog, let man go free, and let not him his wine pipe suffocate. But Easter hath given the doom of death for pass of little price. Therefore go speak, the Duke will hear thy voice, and let not Bardolph's vital thread be cut, with edge a penny cord with vile reproach.
What does she want?
Speak, captain, for his life, and I will thee requite. Ancient pistol, I do partly understand your meaning. Why then rejoice therefore? Certainly, ancient, it is not a thing to rejoice at. For if, look you, he were my brother, I would desire the Duke to use his good pleasure and put him to execution, for discipline ought to be used. Die and be a damned, and to go for thy friendship. It is well. The fig of Spain. Very good. Why, this is an errant counterfeit rascal. I remember him now, a bawd, a cut-purse. I'll assure you, uttered as brave words at the bridge as you shall see in a summer's day. But it is very well. What he has spoke to me, that is well, I warrant you, when time is served. Why, to the goal, a fool a rogue that now and then goes to the wars to grace himself at his return into London in the form of a soldier. And such falls are perfect in the great commander's names, and they will learn you by rote where services were done, at such and such a sconce, at such a breach, at such a convoy, who came off bravely, who was shot, who disgraced what terms the enemy stood on. And this they con perfectly in the phrase of war, which they trick up with new tune oaths, and what a beard of the general's cut, and a horrid suit of the camp will do among foaming bottles, and ale-washed wits. It is wonderful to be thought on, but you must learn to know such slanders of the age, or else you may be marvelously mistook. I tell you what, Captain Goer, I do perceive he is not the man that he would gladly make show to the world he is. If I find a hole in his coat, I will tell him my mind. Hark you, the king is coming, and I must speak with him from the bridge. Enter King Henry, Gloucester, and soldiers. God please you, your majesty. God bless you, your majesty. How now, Flulin, camest thou from the bridge? Aye, so please your majesty, the Duke of Easter hath very gallantly maintained the bridge. The French gone off, look you, and there is gallant and most brave passengers. Mary, that adversary was have possession of the bridge, but he is enforced to retire, and the Duke of Easter is master of the bridge. I can tell your majesty, the Duke is a brave man. What men have you lost, Flulin? The perdition of that adversary hath been very great, reasonable great. Mary, for my part, I think the Duke hath lost another man, but one that is like to be executed for robbing a church. One Bardolph, if your majesty know the man. His face is all bucles and welts and knobs and flames of fire, and his lips blows at his nose, and it's like a coal of fire, sometimes blue and sometimes red, but his nose is executed and his fire is out. We would have all such fingers so cut off, and we give express charge that in our marches through the country there be nothing compelled from the villages, nothing taken but paid for, nothing of the French unbraided or abused in disdainful language. For when lenity and cruelty play for a kingdom, the gentle gamester is a soon miswinner. You know me by my habit. Well then, I know thee. What shall I know of thee? My master's mind, unfold it. Thus says my king, say thou to Harry of England, thou, we seem dead, we did but sleep. Advantage is a better soldier than rashness. Tell him, we could have rebuked him at Hartford, but that we thought not good to bruise injury till it were full ripe. Now we speak upon our cue, and our voice is imperial. England shall repent its folly, see his weakness, and admire our sufferance. Bid him therefore consider of his ransom, which must proportion the losses we have borne, the subjects we have lost, the disgrace we have digested, which in weight to re-answer his pettiness would bow under. For our losses as exequires too poor,
For the effusion of our blood, the muster of his kingdom too faint to number, and for our disgrace, his own person, kneeling at our feet, but a weak and worthless satisfaction. To this add defiance, and tell him for conclusion he hath betrayed his followers, whose condemnation is pronounced. So far my king and master, so much my office. What is thy name? I know thy quality. Montjoy, thou dost thy office fairly, turn thee back, and tell thy king I do not seek him now, but could be willing to march on to Calais without impeachment. For, to say the sooth, thou 'tis no wisdom to confess so much in the enemy of craft and vantage. My people are with sickness much enfeebled, my numbers lessened, and those few I have almost no better than so much French. Who, when they were in health, I tell thee, Harold, I thought upon one pair of English legs did march 3 gentlemen. Yet forgive me, God, that I do brag thus. This your air of France hath blown that vice in me. I must repent. Go therefore, tell thy master here I am. My ransom is this frail and worthless trunk, my army but a weak and sickly guard. Yet God before, tell him we will come on. Though France himself and such another neighbor stand in our way, there's for thy labor, Montjoy. Go bid thy master will advise himself. If we may pass, we will. If we be hindered, we shall your tawny ground with your red blood discolor. And so, Montjoy, fare you well, the sum of all your answers, but this, we would not seek a battle as we are, nor as we are, we say we will not shun him. So tell your master, I shall deliver so, and thanks to your highness. I hope they will not come upon us now. We are in God's hand, brother, not in theirs. March us to the bridge, and now draw us toward night. Beyond the river we'll encamp ourselves, and on tomorrow bid themselves much away. Scene 4, the French camp near Agincourt. Into the constable of France, the Lord Randers, the Duke of Orleans, Dauphin, and others. Tut, I have the best armor to wear. What is for day? You have an excellent armor, but let my horse have his due. It is the best horse of Europe. Will it never be mounted in morning? My Lord of Orleans and my Lord High Constable, you talk of horse and armor. You are as well provided of both as any prince in the world. What a long night is this! I will not change my horse with any that trades, but on your 4 pasterns. Aha! He bounds from the earth as if his entrails were hares. La Chava, Valenta, the Pegasus, qui hala nerines de fou. When I bestride him, I soar, I am a hawk. He trots the air. The earth sings when he touches it. The basest horn of his hoof is more musical than the pipes of Hermes. He is of the color of the nutmeg, and of the heat of the ginger. It is a beast of Perseus. He is pure air and fire, and the dull elements of earth and water never appear in him, but only in patient stillness. While his rider mounts him, he is indeed a horse, and all other jades you may call beasts. Indeed, my lord, it is most obsolete and excellent horse. It is the prince of Palfrays. His neigh is like the bidding of a monarch, and his countenance enforces homage. No more question. Nay, the man hath no wits that cannot, from the rising of the lark to the lodging of the lamb, very deserves praise on my palfrey. It is a theme as fluent as the sea. Turn the sands into eloquent tongues, and my horse is argument for them all. 'Tis a subject for a sovereign to reason on, and for a sovereign to ride on, and for the world familiar to us, and unknown to lay apart their particular functions, and wonder at him. I once writ a sonnet in his praise, and began thus: wonder of nature. I have heard a sonnet begin so to one's mistress. Then did they imitate that which I composed to my courser, for my horse is my mistress. Your mistress bears me well, which is a prescript praise and perfection of a good particular mistress. Ma foi, methought yesterday your mistress shrewdly shook your back. So perhaps yours did. Mine was not brittled. Ah, then belike she was old and gentle, and you rode like a kern of Ireland, your French hose off, and your straight strozers. You have good judgment in horsemanship. Be warned by me, then. They that ride so, and ride not warily, fall into foul bogs. I had rather have my horse to my mistress. I had as lief have my mistress the jade. I tell thee, constable, my mistress wears his own hair. I could make as true a boast as that if I had a so to my mistress. Good thing I recorded it. La chine est return, a sans proper vervismit, et le true le vous a bobrir, thou makest use of anything. Yet do I not use my horse for my mistress, or any such proverb, so little kin to the purpose? My lord constable, the armor that I saw in your tent tonight, are those stars of suns upon it? Stars, my lord. Some of them will fall tomorrow, I hope. Yet my skull shall not want. That may be, for you bear a many superfluous, and 'twere more honor some were away. Even as your horse bears your praises, who would trot as well were some of your brags dismounted? Would I were able to load him with his desert, would never be day. I will trot tomorrow a mile, and my way shall be paved with English faces. I will not say so for fear I should be faced out of my way, but I would it were morning, for I would fain be about the ears of the English. Who will go to hazard with me for 20 prisoners? You must first go yourself to hazard, ere you have them. 'Tis midnight, I'll go arm myself. The Dauphin longs for morning. He longs to eat the English. I think he will eat all he kills. By the white hand of my lady, he's a gallant prince. Swear by her first, that she may tread out the oath. He is simply the most active gentleman of France, doing his activity, and he will still be doing. He never did harm, that I heard of, nor will do none tomorrow. He will keep that good name still. I know him to be valiant. I was told that by one that knows him better than you. What's he? Mary's he told me so himself, and he said he cared not who it. He needs not, it is no hidden virtue in him. By my faith, sir, but it is. Never any body saw it but his lackey. 'Tis to the hooded valor, and when it appears it will bait. Ill will never said well. I will cap that proverb with there is flattering friendship, and I will take up that with give the devil his due. Well placed. There stands your friend for the devil. Have the very eye of that proverb with the pox of the devil. You are the better at proverbs. By how much? A fool's bolt is soon shot. You have shot over. 'Tis not the first time you were overshot. Enter a messenger. My lord high constable, the English lie within 1,500 paces of your tent. Who hath measured the ground? The Lord Grand Pré, as valiant the most expert. Would it were day, alas, 'twould harry at England. He belongs not for the darling as we do. What a wretched peevish fellow is this King of England to mope with his fat-brained followers so far out of his knowledge. If England had any apprehension, they would run away. That they lack, for if their heads had any intellectual armor, they would never wear such heavy head pieces. The island of England breeds very valiant creatures. Their mastiffs are of unmatchable courage. Foolish curs that run winking into the mouth of a Russian bear and have had their heads crushed like a rotten apple. You may as well say that a valiant flea that dare eat his breakfast on the lip of a lion. Just. And the men do sympathize with the mastiffs in robustious and rough coming on, leaving their wits with their wives, and then give them great meals of beef and iron steel. They will eat like wolves and fight like devils. Aye, but these English are shrewdly out of beef. Then shall we find tomorrow they have only stomachs to eat and none to fight. Now it is time to arm. Come, shall we about it? It is now 2 o'clock, but let me see by 10. We shall have each 100 Englishmen.